What's goody? Hey man, so the NBA trade season has officially opened up, and Trae Young is now a member of the Washington Wizards. And this is a situation that developed so quickly that this really tells me that Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks were both kind of over that situation, because to see the report come out like 2 or 3 days ago when I initially dropped my video that Trae Young and his camp were open to working with the Hawks for a trade, and we're looking to work with the Hawks on a trade. And then, like the next day, for it to come out that pretty much the Wizards are the only team interested, and the Wizards are the only team that's really gonna throw in a bid for Trae Young. And then it comes out that the Wizards are his preferred destination, so we're all basically assuming it's gonna happen to the Wizards. Well, yeah, that all happened, and now he's a Washington Wizard. And I have a lot to say about this trade, and I have a lot to say about Trae Young, and I think kind of like the perception of Trae Young, because I'm still someone that is a believer and a supporter in Trae Young. The first thing I want to say for this trade is that as the details have come out right now, it is Trae Young to Washington and then Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum to Atlanta. And the first thing I want to say about this trade is if you're Washington, you completely won this trade. You get an all-star, all-NBA level player. Perennial all-star, all-NBA level player. This is a guy that seemingly is a very loyal dude. This is a guy that seemingly really just cares about being re-signed. I don't think this is even though he's going to have to be re-signed eventually, I think either next year, either the end of this year or next year, he doesn't seem like a guy where he's going to give you much of a fuss about re-signing. I could very well see, as long as you treat him well in Washington, this is a guy that could end his career in Washington, just because he seems like a very loyal guy, right? I'm not saying he will end his career in Washington, because this isn't a team that's good, so maybe by the time they are good, he's not really in their long-term plans anymore, and then he's off the team, blah, 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 blah. But if you're Washington, you were able to get an all-star, all-NBA level player for dirt cheap. You were able to get him without having to give up any first round picks and without giving up any young players that you're super tied to. You didn't have to worry about giving up a Bob Carrington. You didn't have to worry about giving up a Bilal Coulibaly. You didn't have to worry about giving up a Trae Johnson. You didn't have to worry. You didn't even you literally what you gave up was a vet that's on, I think, an expiring deal, and you gave up Corey Kispert, who literally the only thing he's doing for you is shooting, and he's only played 19 games this year. So you don't really care that much. And if you're Atlanta, the only good thing I'll say about this trade for Atlanta is that the CJ McCollum money is coming off your books this offseason, I believe, so you don't really have to worry about that. And this trade does add much needed shooting to a team that does not have much shooting, especially with the way that Zachary Richardson and Dyson Daniels are playing right now. But I just look at this trade for the Atlanta Hawks, and I don't see how, if I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan, I can feel happy or feel comfortable with not even getting a first round pick for Trae Young just to be able to say that the situation's over with. You're telling me that now I have a guy who's probably not even going to be on my team next year in CJ McCollum, and then Corey Kispert, who's a solid young player at best, for a guy that took me to a conference finals, for a guy that has been an all-star here, that has been an all-NBA level player here for years on end since the moment he was drafted, for a guy that has been nothing but loyal and nothing but a fan favorite in this city since the moment he got there. You're telling me that just because the situation's bad right now, that I'm just going to be okay with giving him up for Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum at 32, 33 years old? Absolutely not. If I'm an Atlanta Hawks fan right now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, are we dead ass? The only possible suitor for him was the Washington Wizards? You're telling me you couldn't have at least talked to Toronto and maybe got Emmanuel quickly? And I get you might not love the Emmanuel quickly, but I mean, damn. At least it's like some more talent. At least it's a little bit more young talent. It's something to at least make you believe in it. It at least helps, like, I don't get how you get out of here and you get an expiring player and a player that is, like I said, at the very best, a solid young player. You don't even get a second round pick. You don't get a first or a second round pick. I saw Desmond Bane and Mikal Bridges go for 4 and 5 first round picks respectively, and you couldn't get one for Trae Young. You couldn't get a second round pick for Trae Young from the Washington Wizards, one of the most poverty franchises in sports. This is a guy that has been your franchise for the entirety of the 2020s, and now your team that is already bad, that's already sitting at like the 10-11 seed as we speak, just got worse. I understand that when Trae Young came back, they started losing, and then I get all that. But if you've been watching, if you've really been peeping, the problem started before that, and they've continued since Trae Young went back out. This Atlanta Hawks team simply isn't a good team. And I do not believe that as things are right now, building around Jalen Johnson is just the answer. I don't think that you can sit there with Jalen Johnson as your best player and this roster around him and just be able to sit here and think everything's good. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, not only do I believe you lost this trade, I believe there is multiple more deals to be done. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't really know what the Atlanta Hawks can do to get to the point where it's like, I believe in them as much as I did heading into the season because I don't think there's any point other than getting Giannis was the only thing that probably would have got me there. And now that that's dead, I don't see anything. I don't see any avenues for this team to get back to the point where I'm like, yeah, they can make some noise in the Eastern Conference. I'm more at the point now where I'm like, damn, are they even going to make it past the play-in in the Eastern Conference? For the Washington Wizards, I love this deal. Like I said, you don't give up anything you really love. You didn't give up any picks at all. You get a very good player who, at the very minimum, raises the floor of this team and helps guys, especially guys like Alex Sarr, develop. He helps them get better. He throws them lobs. He gets them open. He shows them how to run it. He helps them run a fast-paced offense, which is something that this team probably will be phenomenal at, as most young teams are. This is going to make the Washington Wizards more watchable. This is going to take Washington. This is going to get Washington Wizards fans invested because they're no longer a 9-win team. They're no longer the second or third worst team in the NBA now. Now they're looking at a team that, hey, if you play the second half of the season right with the healthy Trae Young, maybe you can get up to maybe the 10 seed. Maybe you can fight for the Atlanta Hawks for that last play-in spot by the end of the season if Trae Young comes back early enough. You never know. Now, I'm not saying they will, but you got to remember, for a point in the season, the Washington Wizards were a fun, competitive team, and I get they haven't been that recently, but I mean, this is a man that's going to help Keyshawn George, that's going to help Alex Sarr, that's going to help all of these players develop, and you didn't have to give up anything crazy to get him. And then the last thing I want to talk about in this trade, and then we'll get up out of here, quick little video about this trade because everybody pretty much knew this was going to happen. I feel like in the NBA, we devalue players so quickly without taking a lot of things into consideration. I understand Trae Young is terrible defensively. I understand that the fit, that things with Trae Young being the centerpiece in Atlanta were not going well. I understand that this was really his last shot, and I understand that he needed to get out of Atlanta, and it's better for both parties that he's gone because I think both parties just needed to change the scenery. I understand that, but are we forgetting that Trae Young is a guy that throughout his career has averaged 25 and 10? Consistently? This is a guy that can lead the NBA in assists any given year. This is a guy that will be an all-star, be an all-NBA player. This is a guy that will take you to playoff series and take games from the juggernaut Boston Celtics, even in a year when his team does not have the roster to be taking games from a juggernaut Boston Celtics. This is a guy that will be a heart and soul of your team. This is a guy that will carry your team. This is a guy that will show up for your team, and you know what you're going to get from him night in and night out. Yes, you understand the efficiency may not be there. You understand that there are times where the turnover numbers are going to be high. You understand that defensively the man is terrible. But you can't sit here and tell me that this isn't a major upgrade for the Washington Wizards. You can't sit here and tell me that Trae Young wouldn't have been a valuable piece for the Minnesota Timberwolves, for the Toronto Raptors, for other teams, for the Milwaukee Bucks, for other teams throughout basketball. You're telling me that Trae Young was useless? You're telling me that Trae Young, if I'm the Toronto Raptors, wasn't worth giving up Emmanuel Quickly, a bench player, and like a second-round pick? You're telling me I would, based on what the Wizards gave up, we might not even have to give up the pick. You're telling me we couldn't have done that? You're telling me if I'm the Minnesota Timberwolves, I wasn't going to think about giving up Nas Reed for Trae Young? You're telling me let me think of a team. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I wouldn't be willing to give up whoever the hell that's not Giannis Antetokounmpo for Trae Young just to get the man some hope? Because I absolutely would be willing to do these things if I'm a general manager of these teams, because I don't think we understand, at the very least, Trae Young, especially if he's going to be on a team with a guy like Giannis or on a team with a guy like Scotty Barnes, where he may not be looked at immediately as the 1A, where he may not have as much pressure on him to be the best guy or the main focus for a defense night in and night out, where he may be on a team like the Raptors that has a good defensive infrastructure that can hide him a little more. You can't tell me that wouldn't have been a scary sight. I'm just not even lying to you. I'm genuinely upset that the Toronto Raptors did not go out there and try to get him. That genuinely upsets me. We need a point guard so badly, and I just feel like guys like Trae Young or Darius Garland even John Morant just do things that would help the Raptors so much. And to a more extent, I believe it would be a Darius Garland or Trae Young, because these are guys that are going to get the Scotty Barneses and the Brandon Ingrams more involved, because I don't really like the fit with John Morant quite as much. But we had a chance to upgrade from Emmanuel Quickly as sitting as a top 5 seed out east in a year where the Eastern Conference is weaker than it probably will be for the next couple of years. And you're telling me we weren't willing to outbid a bit of Corey Kispert and CJ McCollum to get a guy that's been an all-star multiple times, been an all-NBA player, and led his team to the conference finals? We weren't willing to give up Emmanuel Quickly and some other stuff for that? The Atlanta Hawks couldn't find a suitor. Like, do we understand how disrespectful this is to Trae Young? Are we forgetting who Trae Young is? I just feel like in the NBA, we're underrating how important a real point guard, a real facilitator of the ball, a real commander of the offense is. And especially when it comes to playoff time, I get the defensive liability and stuff like that. But if I'm a team like the Raptors or the Timberwolves, the way things are going right now, I would take the risk of the defensive liability if I have Rudy Gobert on the back end, who looked like he's going to be an all defensive player this year. Or if I have a defense like the Raptors on the back end. Or if I have Giannis freaking Antetokounmpo, a two-time DPOY winner or a one-time DPOY winner on the back end, yes, I would be willing to give up some bench players for Trae Young. Yes, I would be willing to give up Emmanuel quickly and a bench player for Trae Young. Yes, I would be willing to give up whatever the hell isn't Giannis on the Bucks for Trae Young. 1,000% yes. The Washington Wizards stole Trae Young. And if I'm a Wizards fan, this is the happiest I've been since John Wall was on the team. This is the happiest I've been since it was Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal, to be dead ass. If I'm a Wizards fan, I will be watching Wizards games when he comes back for at least the beginning of it. I love it. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching as always. Please let me know what y'all think about the Trae Young trade. Please let me know if y'all think I'm bugging, if y'all think I'm too high on Trae Young, if y'all agree with me, whatever y'all feel, let me know. I've been loving the support I've been getting on the videos recently, so let's just keep on running it up. Let's keep on doing what we've been doing. The NFL picks are not going to come out tomorrow because I believe there are no playoff games until Saturday. So that will probably come out either Friday night or Saturday morning. Either one. I don't know. But let me know what type of content y'all want to see. And as always, keep God first. Oh, and one last thing I want to say. If you stayed to the video to this end, there's one last thing I want to say, and I should have said it in the beginning. What ICE did today in Minneapolis was absolutely disgusting. Rest in peace. Hold on. Let me not butcher her name. Let me go look at her name right now because I saved it specifically to do this because I did not want to mess up this young lady's name. Rest in peace to Renee Nicole Good. My prayers are with her soul. My prayers are with her family as they mourn right now. My prayers are with the entire world right now because what is happening in this world is absolutely disgusting. And I'm trying to be as representative of the kingdom of God as I can possibly be right now, but I really want to curse right now because I so passionately and strongly hate what's going on in the world right now and the oppression that's going on in the world right now. That young woman didn't do anything wrong. And the lies from our president, the lies from ICE officials and whoever else trying to say, oh, the woman was trying to hit him with her car. She's using her vehicle as a weapon. Shut up. You're lying. You are sitting here bold-faced lying, and the American public is not falling for that. We are not stupid. We saw her wheel turning the other way. We saw that woman barely even moving. She was not going at a fast speed. We saw it all. And we saw you shoot her in the face blatantly for no reason in the middle of the day on a Wednesday. That woman was probably on the way to pick up her kids. This world needs Jesus more than ever. And I'm telling you right now, he will be coming back soon. All of the signs are pointing towards it. This world is getting more wicked by the day, and there is no saving it other than Jesus Christ. Because we're at a point right now where it's not just good versus bad. It's literally kingdom of God versus the devil. We're at that point. It's literally evil versus God. That's what it is now. And I just don't know how there's any saving apart from Jesus coming back. And, so get right with God is what I'm trying to tell you. Get right with Jesus. Whatever relationship, please just give it a try. Pray. I just pray to say, hey, God, whatever God is real, reveal yourself to me. Just pray that prayer because I'm telling you, you do not want to die being an atheist. You do not want to die following a false God. You don't. This is the most important decision you will ever make in your life, and it is more important now than ever as the time comes for Jesus to come back and as this world dips further and further into looking like hell every single day. Please just give it a try. I beg of you. I beg of you. I love y'all, man. Peace out.